6:15. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by Dilini Gunawadana, assisted by Sanjay, and read by Geethanjali Ramanayaka. The headlines. The President initiates the fourth phase of the Bharat Lanka housing project. The Prime Minister urges UN Food and Agriculture Organization to support introduction of new technology to rural agriculture. A special committee is appointed to discuss demands of health sector trade unions. A digital campaign is unveiled targeting French and German markets. A delegation of the British High Commission meets representatives of the Economic Council of the Jatika Janabalawegaya. Foreign news. World Court commences hearing arguments on Israeli occupation of Palestinian territories. And in sports, it's rugby. Sri Lanka is to host new 11s format rugby. President Ranil Wickremesinghe underscored the government's commitment to safeguarding the economic and social rights of the upcountry Tamil community during a ceremony held at the Presidential Secretariat. He acknowledged their significant contribution to the nation's economy and expressed intentions to unite political representatives from the upcountry, transcending party lines to present collaborative proposals within the upcoming month. The occasion marked the virtual launch of the fourth stage of the Indian housing project, Bharat Lanka, aimed at constructing 10,000 houses for plantation sector workers. President Wickremesinghe, along with Minister Jeevan Thondaman and Indian High Commissioner Santosh Jha, virtually unveiled the foundation stone plaque for 1,300 houses across 45 plantation estates in 10 districts. President Wickremesinghe expressed gratitude to India for their support, particularly on the 200th anniversary of the upcountry Tamil community's arrival in Sri Lanka. He highlighted efforts to negotiate land acquisitions from estate companies for housing construction and emphasized the government's commitment to advancing education standard within the upcountry. Director General of the UN Food and Agriculture Organization, Dr. Chu Dong-yu, paid a courtesy visit to President Ranil Wickremesinghe at the Presidential Secretariat this afternoon, commending the President's leadership amid Sri Lanka's economic challenges. During the meeting, Dr. Dong-yu conveyed congratulations to President Wickremesinghe for his efforts in navigating Sri Lanka through the recent economic crisis and subsequent reforms. He assured the President of the FAO's unwavering support to both the government and the people of Sri Lanka during these critical times. President Wickremesinghe in turn provided an overview of the progress made in the country's ongoing recovery efforts. He highlighted the importance of introducing an agriculture modernization project to enhance the sector's productivity and sustainability. Meanwhile, Mr. Dong-yu called on Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawadana at the Temple Trees today. The Prime Minister urged the FAO to consider further assistance to plans for introducing new technology for agricultural and fisheries sectors. He made a special mention about setting up water pumps with solar panels for energy generation for rural farming. It was also said that FAO would consider such a project in Sri Lanka. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The Minister of Health stated a special committee has been appointed to look into the demands of the health sector trade unions. Accordingly, the committee, comprising of Health Minister Dr. Ramesh Patrana, the Secretary of the Ministry of Health and representatives of the health trade unions, HTUA, is set to meet tomorrow. The decision was taken at a meeting held between the HTUA and the Minister of Health this morning in a bid to resolve their disparities in allowances. Issuing a statement in this regard, the Ministry noted that the Ministry had directed the HTUA to present a proposal inclusive of their demands to the Ministry. A groundbreaking wellness campaign is launched to promote Sri Lanka, and this initiative, commissioned by the European Union delegation with the support of Sri Lanka Tourism Promotion Bureau, is a part of Sri Lanka's strategic effort to position itself as a premier wellness destination in Asia, with special focus on the French and German markets. Interface Tourism is launching a 2-month digital campaign to promote Sri Lanka, tapping into the burgeoning global wellness tourism market. This initiative underscores Sri Lanka's unparalleled wellness offerings such as authentic Ayurveda, yoga and meditation against the backdrop of the country's abundant biodiversity. At the heart of the campaign are 30 influencers from France and Germany embarking on journeys through Sri Lanka to share the country's wellness experiences on their social media platforms, bringing to life the authentic and captivating aspects of their travels. Supplementing these influencer stories is a well-crafted digital media strategy featuring captivating video content, a lively social media footprint, and targeted display advertising. A multilingual microsite further enriches the campaign, acting as a comprehensive source of information and experiences related to Sri Lanka's wellness offerings. A discussion was held between a delegation of British High Commission and representatives of the Social Economic Council of the Jatika Jana Balawegaya at the JVP headquarters today. The discussion focused on the issues faced by the businessmen and public of the country in the face of prevailing socio-economic crisis. This approach of the Jatika Jana Balawegaya to overcome these issues was also discussed at length. And that ends local news for now.
The main news story is brought to you by Sinhala Mahatmya.
According to a survey by the Ceylon Chamber of Commerce, Sri Lanka exporters have said political stability and consistent energy supply were crucial facilitators for export growth in 2024. In the survey covering 2023 and forecasting 2024, exporters expressed confidence in their growth prospects. The report further found amidst economic dynamics, the export sector exhibited robust growth in 2023. And that was the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Sinhala Mahatmya.
On to Watchlight this evening. The Education Ministry emphasizes that the Education Ministry will not issue letters to admit students to grade 1, 5 and 6 for the year 2024. In order to enroll students in grade 1 of schools, applications should be forwarded to the respective schools according to the circular issued by the Education Ministry. The principals of those respective schools will conduct interviews and enroll the selected students to grade 1. Meanwhile, admission of students to grade 6 in national schools is made solely on the basis of the scores obtained by students at the grade 5 scholarship examination. In the year 2024, the relevant applications should also be forwarded to the respective schools to admit students to intermediate classes other than grades 1, 5 and 6, including GCE advanced levels. If there are vacancies in these schools, the principals will select suitable students after conducting interviews. And that came to you in Watchlight.
Coming up, World News.
Headlines first. World Court commences hearing arguments on Israeli occupation of Palestinian territories. Mexico protesters in mass rally against electoral changes. And U.S. spacecraft blasts off to Moon's South Pole. The UN's highest court is holding historic hearings into Israel's occupation of the Palestinian territories since 1967. The legal representatives of the state of Palestine, Alan Pellet, is currently addressing the court, focusing on the consequences of Israeli breaches. The International Court of Justice in The Hague will hear from 52 countries and 3 organizations on the legal consequences of Israel's occupation of the West Bank, Gaza, and East Jerusalem. The week-long proceedings come as Israel continues its devastating war on Gaza. Huge crowds have rallied in Mexico's capital protesting against proposed changes to the Electoral Authority ahead of June's presidential elections. The Mexico City government said some 90,000 people turned out in the city's Zocalo Square. The opposition accuses President Andrés Manuel López of trying to weaken the National Electoral Institute (NEI) as autonomous partisan body. Since this victory in the 2018 presidential elections, Mr. López Obrador has been pushing for reform of the INE, which he says will save taxpayers $150 million a year by drastically reducing the agency's staff. This is the latest such protest in Mexico in recent years. A privately owned spacecraft headed for Moon has blasted off the Cape Canaveral, Florida. If the spacecraft Odysseus mission is successful, its owner, Intuitive Machines, will make history as the first private company to land on the Moon. All previous landings have been carried out by national space agencies. The robotic craft will attempt to land on the lunar surface's South Pole, where scientists hope there could be a source of water. It is the second commercial mission to be funded by the U.S. space agency NASA, as it seeks to encourage private missions to the Moon as a way to expand its reach in space. Back to the headlines of the world news. World Court commences hearing arguments on the Israeli occupation of Palestinian territories. Mexico protesters in mass rally against electoral changes. And U.S. spacecraft blasts off to Moon's South Pole. And that ends world news. On to development news. The South Asia Sub-Regional Economic Cooperation Port Access Elevated Highway project directly linking the Colombo Harbour and the Colombo Port City to Colombo Airport will be finally opened in October 2024. This will also give an opportunity for foreigners shopping at the duty-free shop to be opened in April to purchase the goods, use the highway to go direct to the airport and check in by passing ticketing counters, as Airport Aviation is planning to open ticket counter at the port city. The highway project will construct about 5.3 kilometers of an elevated toll highway with related facilities between New Calne Bridge and Golf Face in central Colombo 1. The project will help alleviate traffic congestion in the densely populated areas of Colombo, improve last-mile connectivity from the country's expressway network to the international port in Colombo. And that was development news.
Moving on with sports news.
Scheduled for the 27th, 28th and 29th September, the Colombo International Rugby Sevens Tournament garners support from key stakeholders including Sri Lanka Rugby, Sri Lanka Schools Rugby Football Association, Ministry of Sports and Ministry of Education. While the World Rugby has yet to formally adopt this variant, akin to T20 cricket, the 11s format is gaining traction in Southeast Asia, evident from tournaments in Thailand and Malaysia. Rugby with formats like 7s and 10s alongside the traditional 15 sees potential in the 11s format due to its modified rules, emphasizing increased try-scoring opportunities and fostering dynamic running and passing play. And that was sports news.
Go ekak thiyana youth eකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු හින හැබැ කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all-new NSB Ithru Mithru account, NSB IAM, a plan for your dream.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Betumix Private Limited has expanded fulfilling its corporate social responsibility by implementing the latest stage of the Betumix Sisu Senehasa scholarship program that provides financial assistance to students from low-income families. Under this program, financial assistance is provided to selected students from Anuradhapura district who have excelled in their education. The students are benefited through this program to complete their school education as well as university education. And that was business news.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Go ekak thiyana youth එකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු හින හැබැ කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all-new NSB Ithru Mithru account, NSB IAM, a plan for your dream.
Economic news in a survey conducted by the Ceylon Chamber of Commerce covering 2023 and with forecasts for 2024, Sri Lanka exporters have expressed confidence in their growth prospects. The recently released 5th Export Barometer survey by CCC showcases the resilience of Sri Lankan exporters despite a challenging global outlook. According to the survey, 39% of the firms expect Sri Lankan economy to moderately grow in 2024 compared to 2023. And that was economic news.
Weather report.
A few showers may occur in the eastern and Uva provinces in the morning. Showers or thunder showers may occur at a few places in the Sabragamu province in the evening or night. Mainly fair weather will prevail elsewhere. Fairly strong winds, about 30 to 35 kilometers per hour, can be expected at times in the eastern slopes of the central hills and in the northern, north-central, northwestern, Uva, southern and eastern provinces and in the Matale and Kandy districts. Misty conditions can be expected at some places in the western and Sabragamu provinces during the morning. Well, that was the weather report prior to concluding the headlines. Again, the President initiates the fourth phase of the Bharat Lanka housing project. The Prime Minister urges UN Food and Agriculture Organization to support introduction of new technology and rural agriculture. A special committee is appointed to discuss demands of health sector trade unions. A digital campaign is unveiled targeting French and German markets. A delegation of the British High Commission meets representatives of the Economic Council of the Jatika Janabalawegaya. Foreign News World Court commences hearing arguments on Israeli occupation of Palestinian territories. And in sports, it's rugby. Sri Lanka is to host new 11th format rugby. And with that, we end this news broadcast from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. And it's back to Mariela Vandot on the other side to keep you entertained this Monday evening. Over to you, Mariela.